You guys want to interview my old ass?
Okay, well, you're coming off Iowa where you set a Masters World record.
Yeah, and then I don't know. Yeah, I can't post it. I don't know what you guys where this is going.
Well, what's the experience like just being here in Iowa?
Say it again?
What's the experience like coming off Iowa and now here in New Balance just running again?
Oh, it's just nice to be back and like not warming up in snow. Like the last 4 years I had to warm up in, like everybody's like, oh, it's so cold. I'm like, this is what I would warm up in outside on the concrete in the parking lot for bobsled. So it's nice to be in like the comforts of an indoor track. I'm just so rusty though. Like race rusty is just incredible, and it's weird. Like I'll be good in practice in the warm-ups, and then I get on the start line. It's like you're just like a novice all over again.
You recently released your first book. I was curious, like, what was that, like, just the writing process like? What did you find to be difficult, exciting, nervousness? Like, what was that like going through?
Well, I wrote that book during the pandemic, so I was stuck at home, and like that's literally when I had all the time in the world, and I didn't know if I was gonna go back to bobsled. I had no clue, and so I was like, let me just lay it all out there and hopefully inspire like the next generation or anybody who feels like they have something that's just stopping them, because I have just overcome so much, and it's just like I love a challenge. Like I get a kick out of overcoming a challenge. So.
You've been one of the few athletes, track athletes, that have been able to really transcend into more of the mainstream of media. You've been on The Challenge, you've been in other reality shows, like you've had a huge name. Like, what do you attribute that to being able to kind of translate into the mainstream?
Look, I'll dogfight you over a game of Uno. I don't care if it's a reality show, Big Brother, The Challenge, track meet. I just like to compete. And to be honest, if I'm gonna get real, I wrote a whole chapter about this in my book. And actually the Olympics unfollowed me on TikTok because of it. But I talked about how athletes are not making money at the Olympics and how much money the Olympics makes. It's billions of dollars. And I've been to 3 Olympic Games. I've never been paid a penny for any of the finals I've made. And you can get more money at a New Balance race than you can at an Olympic Games. Tell me how that is justice to the athletes. And so I just wanted to make a change, and hopefully we start making more gains for athletes, because it's getting tougher and tougher. I'm coming back and I'm seeing so many young, talented athletes that are unsponsored, and it's blowing my mind. We have lost competitions in Europe. It's so hard for track and field athletes to make a living. Like, it's funny, when I first went into bobsled, and like the stipend we would get was so measly. Now you make more money as a bobsled athlete than like some of the best track and field athletes in the world, and that is crazy. We've got to do a better job of supporting our younger athletes, because if not, Team USA is not going to continue to have dominance at the Olympics, and that has to start now.
Well, I'm sure there's other competitors maybe asking coaches, like, why are you still doing this? Like, what keeps you coming back?
There's like how much time do you have now? So there's many reasons. The first and foremost is after bobsled, my heart was completely broke. My dad had just passed. I thought that was going to be my last Olympic push, and I felt like I was pushed out of the sport because of my age. And there were some things that happened with the bobsled community. Now there's a different coach, but it was just so frustrating. I came back and I didn't know what to do. So I went out to New York, I was doing TV stuff, and I really thought I was done as an athlete, but my mental health was just struggling. And I've always run just for mental health. And I had the time, my job allowed me flexibility to keep running with my group. So at first I was like, I'm just running out here, push Makai and Aaliyah. I'll like help them the first 2 steps. And then I started to get better and better, and I enjoy it, Every track competition I come to, I see former athletes that are now coaches. And I talk to them like, how did you know you were done? And they're like, I hated the training, I was burned out. I still love training, I still love competing, so I have the ability to do it financially, and so I'm going to keep doing it until one of those busts. Maybe Coach Shaver has me do repeat 200s because I messed up today, and then I'm like, okay, I retire. But I'm on the Tom Brady retirement plan.
So do you think, like, if you went to 2012 Lolo, hey, you still might be going through and doing this in 2024 Olympic trials, like, would you have thought it would be true?
I've never thought I'd be running Masters track and field. Never, ever. That was never the goal, people. Never the goal. But hey, maybe I'll pick up like gray hair dye sponsorship, or like a cane sponsorship, who knows, or arthritis medicine. These things are happening for me, guys.
Can you talk about, or can you give like advice to younger athletes in terms of like the mental health aspects, right? What would be some advice you give to something?
For mental health, oh my gosh, that's so tough. Especially now with everything that's being thrown at them. They have social media, they have the demands of finances. I would just say focus every day on what you can control, whether that's having good training sessions, taking note of your progress, having a community. So that's what I did when I came back from bobsled. I needed to be back with my training partners, Vernon, Norwood, Makai, Briscoe, Leah. They helped heal me. So even if you're not an athlete, I'll say this, mental health, like working out with someone, being in a gym community, like even though track and field is an individual sport, it can also be a team, camaraderie, a friendship, a family. So, thanks guys. Sorry to